I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for attending. My name is Jackel. I'm the president of Local 369, Central North Correctional Center. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge all of our guests who have attended. We have members of our MERC team, Dan, Jim, and Monty. Thank you. Members of our Provincial Health and Safety Committee, Tammy and Sean. Emilio, thank you. We have media here. Thank you for your attendance as well. Mayor Gordon from Midland is also in attendance. We have our executive board members for Region 3. They've made the trip. I want to thank them for their participation. We have members of our Community Advisory Board who are also here. And also to the rest of you. Staff members from Central North who are here. We have staff members here from OCDC, Central East, Maplehurst, OCI, I believe, as well. So thank you for making the trip and attending. There's, I believe, other locals from this area. Thank you for coming. I'm now in my 20th year as a correctional officer and public servant. We invited you here today to draw your attention to an ever-worsening crisis in Ontario's correctional centres. One of these is the significant and obscene waste of taxpayer money the government has recently spent. The building improvements scandal, as I like to refer to it as. In the spring, the Ministry of Corrections embarked on a rigorous campaign to construct living accommodations in most, if not all, jails across the province for its managers. These living quarters will be for managers if we fall into a labor disruption at the end of this year. In 2002, our last strike, managers were instructed to live on site to perform our work. They were on payroll 24 hours a day for the duration of that strike. To allow for this again, the government is building these living quarters for them. It is important to note that none of the construction or its associated costs will benefit the staff or the inmate population. None. Therefore, by default, if this construction does not meet inmate or staff needs, then it fails to meet the needs of the community in which we serve. This is a gross waste of your money. We have institutions that are falling apart, are mold infested. We've asked for more staff. We've asked for better training. We've asked for better safety equipment. We've asked for better programs for our offenders, especially our mentally ill offenders. The government keeps telling us there isn't money for this, yet they can find money for this construction. To keep this in perspective, if we think locally in our area, our economy has suffered. Would this money not be better spent in Midland or Penetanguishene as an economic boost? Would a bailout for them not be better spent? The auto industry received one. Our local hospital, Georgian Bay General Hospital, has had to resort to grassroots fundraising to complete its expansion. It was recently announced that the Penetanguishene Secondary School and Penetanguishene Hospital will be closing. We have members of our municipal governments here today. I'm sure they could attest that a one-time transfer payment would help boost municipal services. So would this money not be better spent for our education or healthcare services? Since construction began at various institutions, the ministry and various superintendents have been adhering to their own code of silence. Unionized staff members were denied access to these areas. It wasn't until April 2014, when news of these construction projects were reported in the media, that the government finally acknowledged that it is all for strike preparation and refused further comment. I have submitted 3 Freedom of Information requests for the costs and have been denied each time. I'd like to quote something from a very recent government document entitled Building Opportunity, Securing Our Future, otherwise known as the Ontario Budget 2014. This can be found on page 153. The government continues to respect the collective bargaining process. Collective bargaining enhances the ability of responsible employers and bargaining agents to increase productivity, deliver services, and ensure fiscal sustainability. Any modest wage increases that are negotiated must be absorbed by employers within available funding and within Ontario's fiscal plan through efficiency and productivity gains or other trade-offs, i.e. cutbacks. So that service level continues to meet public needs. Ontario public sector settlements continue to be below average of those in the private sector, municipal sector, and federal public sector. So that last line, the Ontario government in their own document recognizes that we're underpaid, yet they want us to absorb further cuts. Are we to believe this propaganda? With the government's position, again, before any formal bargaining has even begun, it is quite clear. They are pointing the proverbial pistol to our heads and saying, accept cutbacks or we'll lock you out and force you on strike. This is from an employer who claims to be world-renowned leader in equity, human rights, and labor relations. I want a healthy and productive bargaining process, not one in which we are intimidated. I want a government to be accountable, one that doesn't waste billions of tax dollars on gas plants or unnecessary living quarters and then turn around and blame their debt and deficit on our wages. I want a government where each side listens to each other's issues and concerns and addresses the needs of both. I want reasonable gains in our next contract, gains to wages, compensating time off, health and safety. Our workload has increased, our safety has been compromised, our accountability is higher, meanwhile staffing levels have declined. I think it's time that we should all, social workers, correctional officers, maintenance, healthcare, admin staff, kitchen staff, that all of us expect to be treated with dignity, and we should accept nothing less. Thank you.